energy on a back-to-back?
I think keep our shift short at the start. Obviously, our energy is probably not the same as it was before yesterday, or before last game. So just keep it short, kind of get a feel for the game, and then give it everything you got. We've got a day off tomorrow, so nothing to keep the energy stored for.
Your line is connected so well since the three of you have been put together. What's the secret in the sauce there?
Like I said, I've been saying before, just keeping it simple, sticking to what works for us, and I think it's our speed and our shooting ability as well. Taking advantage of the times to use our feet, taking advantage of the time to shoot the puck and read off each other. And like I said, we just got to play harder, play physical as well. I think we both, took part in being more physical, and I think I take pride in that and continue to do that.
What has stood out about Max Domi since he joined your line and leading to that connection that you guys have?
Well, I mean, he's just obviously you get to see how confident he is. I mean, he's a confident player, but even when things are going well, he's playing hard, playing physical too, and again, we're just feeding off each other's energy, all of us.
Use the word confident. How has your confidence been this last few weeks since joining this line?
Say that one more time.
How has your confidence been since
joining the line?
This line, yeah.
Oh, it's obviously great. I mean, producing gives confidence anyways naturally, but again, just getting a feel for the puck, getting a feel for doing the things right, and executing, you get confidence out of that. So yeah, my confidence is pretty high.
This team's responded well when a player or two or three or four have missed games due to injury. What's the key there?
Yeah, I mean, we just, again, I think guys take advantage of, I don't know what the situation in Austin yet, but guys just take advantage of what they're given. Guys will play more, get a more opportunity, and I think guys just get more energy, more fired up to play a little more.
What stands out about the Islanders?
They're good. They're a good team, obviously. I don't know how their season's been going so far, but we got to respect every team that comes to this building. They got some players that can, score and be skilled. So we just got to match how hard they're going to play. They're a team that plays hard. We got to match that.
JT's on the edge of some very big career numbers. What's always impressed you about him?
What's always impressed me about Johnny is just the way he prepares. Obviously, there's no secret or there's no surprise why he's had success. His commitment to the game, the way he takes care of his body, how he leads the team, it's great, and that's what sticks out for me for sure about him.
What did you make of Matt Murray's perseverance over the last year and a half and back to the point he was at last
Yeah,
year?
it was great. I can kind of relate a little bit, being out of hockey for a bit and kind of working way back up. And yeah, he had a great game yesterday. Kept us in it, and it was good to see him get the bell and get the win for him.
What can you tell us about Austin's status?
Again, just he's not going to go tonight. He took a cross check there late in the third period on the power play. Just aggravated. So.
Do you think teams are targeting him because he's a great player, or targeting him because they think he might be hurt?
Well, I don't think he's targeted just because Tage Thompson hit him last night. Well, you got to look at the game. We knew they were going to be a hard team. They lost 11 in a row. He's just trying to get his team going. I don't see him being targeted, but he got hit. And, he took that cross check. For me, that's a penalty. Should have been a 5-on-3 automatic. But I'm not the ref.
Is there any chance for him for Monday, or you just shut him down to post-Christmas?
I'll make that decision tomorrow. We will. I'm not going to make that decision.
So that door's not shut yet?
No, I'm not going to go there yet. We're going to see how things go here, and then we'll play it by ear. So.
Was the issue an isolated incident or related to what was bothering him in November?
Probably a little of both. Yeah.
What do you make of how the team has played when Matthews hasn't been in the lineup?
Well, they played well. I think if I look back on the games that he was out, we checked extremely well. And because we need to. Was our scoring down a little bit? Yes, but we're still winning close hockey games because everybody was focused on the checking part and doing their job. And guys stepped up with him being out, and they stepped up big for us. And so I expect the same.
Can you tell us roster changes? Who's in for Austin?
Yep. Dewar and Reeves are going to go in tonight.
In addition to Austin, who comes in?
Holmberg.
Craig, John Tavares has moved up to 70th on the all-time NHL points list. In your time with him, what really sticks out about his game and about his just in general?
Yeah, he's been a great player for a long time. Even go back to the Islander days, I was coaching in Philly, and just how competitive he was back then and now. I don't think that's ever changed. He's just a highly competitive guy that's detailed. And, you know, he, like I talked before, his preparation day in and day out is obviously very good. And it starts in the summertime and how he prepares, and he prepares every day and does the same thing, routine, like, you know, it's just, and that's what allows him to be the player he's.
Leafs facing center crisis amid injuries, eyeing trade market for solutions. As the Toronto Maple Leafs battle through a growing injury list and a suspension, their lack of depth at the center position has become a glaring issue. According to Sportsnet's Elliotte Friedman in his latest 32 Thoughts article, the Leafs are among the teams exploring trade options to bolster their lineup. This effort is coming amid increasing competition from teams like the Chicago Blackhawks and Nashville Predators, who have also set their sights on improving their center depth. Friedman didn't mince words about the Leafs' predicament. The teams currently focusing on centers, including Chicago and Nashville, must consider when others will enter the market. Toronto will undoubtedly be one of those teams, he wrote. While the Blackhawks and Predators may have an edge in terms of cap space and assets, the Leafs remain a team to watch as the season progresses. The Leafs situation is urgent, with up to 7 forwards currently unavailable due to injury or suspension. Ryan Reeves is serving a 5-game suspension, while key players like Auston Matthews, upper body, Matthew Knies, upper body, Kaje Jarnkrok, groin/sports hernia, David Kampf, lower body, Max Domi, lower body, and Max Pacioretty, lower body, are all sidelined. The team has even considered temporarily shifting Mitch Marner to the center position, highlighting the severity of their depth issues. This isn't just a short-term concern for the Leafs. Depth at center has been a persistent challenge for the team, and while stopgap solutions like Marner could help in the interim, the front office appears keen to explore longer-term fixes. For fans of the blue and white, this has been a recurring theme. The Leafs' center depth often becomes a problem at the worst possible times. James Myrtle of The Athletic recently added more fuel to the speculation, naming several potential trade targets who could help the Leafs address their issues. Among them is Ryan O'Reilly, a familiar name for Toronto fans. O'Reilly, who signed a 4-year, $18 million deal with Nashville in 2023, might be a trade candidate if the Predators' underwhelming start to the season, 6-11-3, 31st in the league, prompts a rebuild. However, his steep price tag and history with the Leafs, including rejecting a free agency offer less than 2 years ago, make this a complex and potentially unlikely move. Other names mentioned by Myrtle include former Leaf Nazem Kadri, currently with Calgary, as well as players like Michael Granlund, Nick Jugstad, Brock Nelson, Yanni Gourde, Trent Frederick, Radek Faksa, and Sean Kuraly. While some of these options seem more plausible than others, it's clear that general manager Brad Treliving will need to get creative to find the right piece without mortgaging the team's future. Cap space remains one of the biggest obstacles for the Leafs. Unlike teams like Chicago and Nashville, which have more flexibility and assets, Toronto is walking a financial tightrope. As Friedman noted, competition will intensify as cap-constrained teams strive to create room. For the Leafs, that could mean waiting for the market to develop further, a risky move given their current needs. The situation also highlights the Leafs' ongoing struggle to build a roster that can withstand the grueling nature of an NHL season. Injuries are an inevitability in hockey, but Toronto's current predicament underscores the importance of depth, a quality the team has struggled to consistently maintain. Looking back on recent years, the Leafs have often leaned heavily on their star players, particularly Matthews, Marner, and William Nylander. While these players have delivered in spades, the lack of reliable depth options has left the team vulnerable in critical moments. The current crisis at center is merely the latest example of this recurring issue. Some fans have called for more aggressive moves from Treliving, arguing that now is the time to strike while the team's core is in its prime. Others, however, are more cautious, pointing to the dangers of overpaying for short-term fixes. Striking the right balance will be key, especially as the Leafs aim to keep their championship window open. Despite the challenges, there's no denying that Toronto has the talent to be a contender, provided they can patch up their lineup. The ongoing rumors and speculation surrounding potential trades show that the Leafs are at least exploring every avenue to strengthen their roster. For fans of the blue and white, this moment feels like a pivotal point in the season. With a lineup ravaged by injuries and a tough schedule ahead, the Leafs must act decisively to avoid falling behind in the standings. The addition of a dependable center could be the difference between weathering the storm or watching another season slip away. Whether it's O'Reilly, Kadri, or another surprise name, one thing is certain: the Leafs are under pressure to deliver. And for a fan base as passionate and loyal as Toronto's, there's no room for excuses. The time to act is now, and Leafs Nation is watching closely. As the trade deadline approaches, the stakes couldn't be higher. Will Treliving pull off a move that solidifies the Leafs' status as a contender, or will the search for center depth become yet another chapter in the team's long history of what-ifs? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, it's never boring in Leafs land. As the Maple Leafs navigate this critical juncture, their fan base remains as vocal as ever. Toronto is a city that breathes hockey, and the pressure on Brad Treliving to make the right moves is immense. Every decision he makes, or doesn't make, will be scrutinized, from talk radio to social media, where Leafs Nation is already debating the merits of the various names being floated as potential trade targets. Among the louder debates is whether the team should prioritize a high-profile acquisition like Ryan O'Reilly or Nazem Kadri, or focus on a lower-cost, reliable center who can fill a supporting role without costing too many future assets. While O'Reilly's leadership and playoff experience make him an attractive option, his contract and recent history with the Leafs add layers of complexity to any potential reunion. Similarly, Kadri's gritty, two-way playstyle remains a fan favorite, but his cap hit and availability might render him an unrealistic target. Another factor complicating the Leafs' situation is their tight salary cap. While Chicago and Nashville can make moves with relative ease due to their financial flexibility, Toronto must navigate a labyrinth of constraints to make any trade work. This likely means including salary retention or moving existing contracts to make room, which could drive up the cost of any potential deal. The question then becomes, how much are the Leafs willing to sacrifice to address their immediate needs? One potential trade partner generating buzz is the Seattle Kraken. Yanni Gourde, a dependable two-way center, has been mentioned as a possible target. Gourde's versatility and championship pedigree from his time with Tampa Bay make him an appealing option. Seattle, however, is in playoff contention and may not be inclined to part with a key piece unless the Leafs can provide a substantial return. Another intriguing name is Brock Nelson of the New York Islanders. Nelson is a consistent scorer and reliable faceoff-man, qualities that would undoubtedly bolster Toronto's center depth. However, the Islanders are notoriously cautious when it comes to trades, and prying Nelson away would likely require a significant package, including picks or prospects that the Leafs may be hesitant to part with. For all the trade talk, some analysts believe the solution might come from within. Sheldon Keefe has shown a willingness to experiment with his lineup, and players like Pontus Holmberg or Fraser Minton could be given an opportunity to step up. While relying on less experienced players carries risks, it might be the Leafs' only option if the trade market proves too costly or slow to develop. Adding to the Leafs' urgency is the timing. The Atlantic Division remains one of the toughest in the league, with teams like Boston, Florida, and Tampa Bay continuing to dominate. Any prolonged slump could see Toronto slip further down the standings, putting their playoff hopes in jeopardy. For a team with Stanley Cup aspirations, failing to address their weaknesses could have catastrophic consequences. Brad Treliving's history as a general manager suggests he's not afraid to make bold moves. His time with the Calgary Flames was marked by blockbuster trades, including the acquisition of Jonathan Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar in the Matthew Tkachuk deal. Leafs fans hope he brings that same decisiveness to Toronto, especially as the trade deadline looms. Beyond the immediate need for a center, this situation underscores a broader issue with the Leafs roster construction. Depth has been a perennial concern, and while Toronto boasts some of the league's top-end talent, their reliance on a handful of stars has left them vulnerable in moments like this. Moving forward, addressing this imbalance must be a priority for the front office if the team is to achieve sustained success. As the Leafs head into a critical stretch of the season, the next few weeks could define their trajectory.